everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm sorry that we're a wee bit late. I may have been looking at the screen instead of paying attention to the clock, the time. You know how it goes, how we do. Yeah. So, oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Let's put on the uniform. I really need Brandon to work out some sound effects in the background so that when the hat goes on and there's like an angel choir, like let's look at the chat first before we get the housekeeping out of the way. We've got Aragorn Strider and Shadow Technologies. We've got Trucker Alley Cat UK. We've got Terry Johnson. Terry. Here's the hat. Terry's just like no hat, and we got Antitux. Aw, I miss you too, buddy. Jason's in there. Game Over Dave's in there. We got a good crowd. We got the regulars, and I love each and every one of you guys. Anyway, so yeah, it is Tuesday. This is the Two Guys Tech Homelab Hour. I am your illustrious host. I'm just your host for this show, Rich Teslo, and let's get the housekeeping out of the way. This is episode 59, which is a lot. Feels like it should be more than that, but it is. It's episode 59. Shadow is telling me that there's going to be quite the epic rant in our Discord. By the way, thank you, Shadow. We get 2 times a show to promote the community, the Discord. And what Shadow's talking about is after this show is over, I go hop in that Discord with a bunch of other people, and we kind of talk over each other. We just nerd out, hang out. We talk about our days, what's going on. I know Shadow's got something to tell me about Dell. I'm not sure what it is, but I bet it's going to be a doozy. And it's a good time, and it's one of my favorite parts of this. So the community's free. It's open to everybody. Everybody who I'm talking to right now already knows all this stuff. Aragorn says it's 89 degrees here. Aragorn, it was a balmy 100 degrees. Balmy? It was a hot 100 degrees yesterday. Sunday, Monday were bad because Sunday. Funny story. I don't know how funny it is, but it's a story nonetheless. I try to start these live shows with my thing. Hold on, remove that. I'm trying to fix my camera because I decided to go crazy right before this, and you know how that goes. Let's I'll fix that in a second. Anyway, over the weekend, it was the Oregon Ren Fair. What is a Ren Fair? Ren Fair, friends, is the Renaissance Fair. Ye old Renaissance, where people dress up in all manners of different things, right? Did I really read it as 89? It's 98. It says 98 degrees, right? I'm missing out. The chats, I'll have to catch up on that in a minute. But so we had the Oregon Ren Fair. Oregon Ren Fair runs every weekend in June, and it's just kind of been a thing. Rich and Tutu, thanks. No, I do have a photo for you, and I'm ashamed, but not ashamed. You guys at this point, you probably realize that I'm the kind of guy who has no shame. I'm shameless, I think is the way I would describe it, right? So so I took the family. We went to the Ren Fair because I enjoy the Ren Fair, and had a good time. And I would like to show you a photo of me. So there's another story I'm going to tell you in a second as part of this too. But let's just get to the photo. Brandon, if you would please. It's me. It was Viking weekend. I was a Viking. You know what? I'm eating a giant turkey leg. Look at this. I got my beard all braided. Yeah. I shaved my head for this, guys. I mean, I kind of have to shave my head anyway, because it's just the way it is. But it was a good time, and that turkey leg was great. I know it's a trope. I know it's silly. I know it is just one of these things. But I tell you what, I enjoy the hell out of dressing up in period appropriate clothing. Like I was saying, the Ren Fair is a lot of things for people. There's definitely people who are dressed up in medieval clothing. There's some people who are dressed up in like snail outfits. There's some people who are dressed up like mimes. The thing is, I embrace it all. My favorite part about going to the Ren Fair, if I may be so bold, is watching people. That's the best part. And I fit right in. I'm just as weird as everybody else. But yeah, this That was it. That was the thing. No, the period appropriate tattoos. That is not a period appropriate tattoo. Thank you, Adam. That was my youth. The other side, like, tattoos tell a story about a person, especially when you grow up in the 90s and early 2000s. I may have no lower back tattoos, friends, but I may have a tribal tattoo somewhere that I'm not too proud of. We all kind of had them, right? It was just the thing. Everybody had tribal bands around their arms and stuff. Anyway, Brandon, let's bring it back to the main here. So, oh, and by the way, Brandon's behind the scenes. Turn the knobs, press the buttons. And so, if this is a good show, it's because of Brandon. If it's a bad show, it's because of me. That's the worst. It is still warm here in Oregon. In fact, it was a low 90s today. But anyway, I think we should get to. I'm going to flip the script here this time, guys. I'm going to throw the news up front. I'm going to give you the news things up front, the things to talk about, and then because I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I want to talk to you about the UPS that I installed on Saturday. I want to talk to you about the AI server build because I got basically all the parts, and I have an idea that I already talked to Brandon about it. He thinks it's a good idea. I'm gonna throw it out in front of you guys, the audience here, and get your opinions because I think it's a good idea, and it's a video idea anyway. So let's get to the big news. The morning I woke up to this. There we go. Noctua, the company that makes fans and air coolers, who's built their entire reputation since I've known them, since you have known them up until today, is now getting in the AIO game. If this was a long game for Noctua, they really held on to the long game. So today they announced the NL-LC142. And, it comes in 3 variants. There's a 240, right? We'll get the mouse over here, and it's 240, right? Which is 2 120s. There's a 360, which is obviously 3 120s. I could do math. Math is hard. And then a 420, which is going to be their 140 millimeter fans, or 420s. Anyway, moving on. Math is hard. Let's talk about this thing because realistically speaking, supposedly it's really nice, but I will say that this is still an aesthetic. It's an aesthetic based cooler. So it's the same AIO pump impeller, aluminum fan, aluminum piped radiator that basically everybody uses. This is using their Emma V2 platform, but Noctua has squeezed in some things that they're very proud of that they want you to know. They've got some sort of innovative pump noise absorber thing that they are calling in a 3-layer acoustic soundproofing system and a tuned mass damper. Feels like that's more like sci-fi than anything. But specifically, it also, and I don't think I have it in the photos here for this, but I really wanted to, maybe I do. So this guy is to me, when I saw this, I'm like, okay, well, this is just a standard run-of-the-mill AIO with some Noctua fans on it, which is what we've been building for quite some time. But they do have a little accessory. This guy right here, this little fan, this NLACF1, you pop off the fan shroud off of basically the pump impeller, the hub, right? The pump hub, and it goes on top to give you a little bit of cooling for your VRMs and your RAM and that stuff. But it's the thing about Noctua, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge fan of the beige and brown. I've always been a huge fan of the beige and brown. I know you can get them in black, but I mean, there's just something about that color scheme that just always hits for me. And they've got it. So let's look at some pictures of this guy real quick. So there it is, right? I mean, this is the 360 rad here. That's in a case, an interesting case that it's. I wonder who makes that case. I don't like having the GPU output as cables on the top because then you have to have the cables cascading around from the top. That's that fan hub that right here I was talking about, where you can remove this plastic cover there and you can insert a fan. It has 3 speeds. which you're like 3 speeds. Yeah, it's got 3 different settings. You can kind of see I don't enhance this because that's really enhance. There's a little switch there. So they've built this thing so that you can choose one of 3 different settings for the AIO. Setting number 1 is quiet. Okay. Low RPMs, low RPM for the fans, low RPM for the pump. Next one is a balanced setting, which is, let's just say low, medium speeds. And then a manual. If you move that switch all the way to, I'm assuming the far right, like it's set there now, you can actually have your computer's, BMC, your basically your fan controller, manage the speeds of the fans appropriately to match the temperatures. Because otherwise, I don't think it's doing much on its own. It's an interesting idea. I look at this thing and I'm like, man, this is such a nice piece of kit, and I'm sure it's top of the line. But like back in the day, 2GT did a lot of fan reviews. That was one of the earliest things we did, and they were fine. It was fine stuff, but did a lot of fans, a lot of cooler AIO reviews. And honestly, anytime I came across a cooler that had a manual switch that didn't let me just use the system and the built-in fan curves and stuff, and I get it. Some motherboards have terrible fan curves. I'm sure the Antitux in the chat will tell you a number of different boards that have really terrible fan curves, because that man knows his main boards, motherboards. But I just think that putting a switch on anything in 2026 feels like kind of a cop-out. Like it ignores whatever sort of dynamics in your system happen. Like, oh, the CPU's been 100%. Well, you're on quiet settings, so too bad. Aragorn Star says, Rich, would you say you're a big fan? I'm a big fan of Noctua fans. Thank you, Aragorn. Anyway, it's I love the color scheme. It looks great. This case right here. Remember, they had a collab with Antec, and this is that Antec case, right? You can see the little Antec right there, and you can see it mixed in. I mean, it's a stunning look. It's so nice, right? You get their 5080 with their fan shroud, and you just got yourself a Noctua salad, Noctua anything. Anyway, long story short, it's probably still one of the best, if not the best you can get, because if I know one thing about Noctua, and I'm not kissing butt here, they do all the testing. They make sure everything is good so that when you go to buy their product, it's going to do the job for sure. And yeah, so this is the kit it comes with. If you buy, again, this is an example of the 360, but you got your 3 fans. You got the Acetec pump and radiator, again, aluminum. You get a splitter there for your fans. You get an extension cable, some cleaning pads and thermal paste, and all the screws, and nice big screwdriver. Noctua makes really nice screwdrivers, even though they're really only for that one particular purpose. But supports all modern AMD and Intel consumer chipsets or CPUs. So if you got one of those and you want to do this, upgrade. There's no RGB though. No Noctua RGB. Cool. Right, moving on. The only OnlyFans Rich follows is Noctua's. Oh my gosh. The chat's always got the goods. The chat's always got the goods. I have to say, thank you, Allie. The only OnlyFans. Let's move on. So, next thing, let's jump around here a little bit. Let's go to. We had. I know that the audience is reluctant to talk about AI stuff, especially, and I understand. But I did want to talk about this a little bit because I found this kind of fascinating, because my U.S. government is up to U.S. government stuff like they do, as you do, as tradition. So last Monday, we didn't even talk about it in the live show on last Tuesday, but Anthropic released Fable 5 and Mythos 5. And they said, out loud, they're like, hey, guys, we've done exhaustive jailbreak testing on this. We think we have got it as good as we can. It is buttoned up, tight as a drum. We're going to release this. And the Fable 5 and Mythos 5 exceeds the Mythos that was the big advertisement, like, oh boy, the world is ending AI, right? And so they released it. I started using it because, frankly, I think it was functioning much better than I was getting with Opus 4.8, but that's another story. Anyway, and I did some updating to the MikroTik Manager software, and I was very happy with the output. The results, it was just, it was perfect. And then I woke up Friday morning to the announcement that the U.S. government had put down the kibosh on Anthropic, and basically, I'm gonna look at my notes here so I say this right. Essentially, put down export control restrictions on the availability of Fable 5, citing, national security concerns, because they claim that they found a jailbreak that would allow people to get around said restrictions. Now, Anthropic had claimed that they put, I can't remember how many thousands of hours into testing their jailbreaking to make sure that they caught it. But even Anthropic said themselves, like, look, there's no such thing as a bulletproof thing. We're talking about AI here. Anyone who's smart enough and patient enough can try to find a way around things. I mean, that was part of the fun in the early models, is trying to make it, say mean things about, Mark Zuckerberg when it couldn't. But this happened and basically put the kibosh on Fable 5 and Mythos 5. And it just essentially went offline. We all got little messages in our things that said Mythos 5 or Fable 5 is no longer available. And they claimed that that they were able to jailbreak it, get full control to be able to do all the things that Anthropic said they couldn't. And they were Alleycat Trucker say, an Amazon researcher found a highly restricted jailbreak for limited purposes. All I can say is that I just kind of feel like they should just rip off the Band-Aid. Let's just all get through this, because we're coming towards a inevitability, a singularity, which I'm already seeing. Like, any of you who are in the chat here or watching this now or in the distant future, we're all headed towards this, like, got to patch, because all these AI assisted or AI discovered vulnerabilities are coming up. I got one on Sunday night, another one for Palo Alto, which is like, oh, guess what? Just go ahead and auth bypass that for all day. So, and it was an AI discovered bug. So, like, I feel like what we should be doing is ripping the Band-Aid off and just being like, okay, let's all just hunker down and go through this impending storm of AI discovered high severity CVE vulnerabilities and just get them all fixed. Just get everything done and just stop trying to delay it. But interesting thing is, when the government restricted this for export, it also meant that anyone who worked for Anthropic, anybody who is not technically a US citizen, can't have access to work on these things. Imagine being an employee of this company being like, yeah, you don't get to work because the government doesn't want you to. So it's a thing. And Anthropic also stated that the jailbreaking methods that were being used to get around this are the same ones that could be used against GPT-5.5 or others, and make it break through their restrictions as well. I saw a reel where somebody was purporting, and I'm going to put this out to give you guys, just get your opinions on it. Purporting that this is more of the government being angry at Anthropic more than it is. Because remember, the whole Anthropic said, you can't use our things to kill people, right? I mean, respect and credit where credit's due. And then, they said, okay, well, we're going to blacklist you and you can't be, we're not going to use you in any governments. And then they're like, oh, so can we still have access to your model until our contract's up? And then OpenAI is like, hey, I'll be your death AI machine. I have no problem making drones to kill people, right? We remember all that. That was real life. Sometimes, guys, I feel like we live in a really bad, poorly scripted movie. Anyway, this kind of feels like maybe that's a little related to it, but I don't know. And that I've seen some videos where people are purporting the same thing. But regardless, this has been quite an interesting shakeup. Who knows when this is going to become available again? If you're a Claude user, you better get comfortable with Opus 4.8 again, because it's still it's all you got. But yeah, so still waiting. Let's move on. We're getting through the news here at quite a clip. Let's head over to this. We all knew this was coming, friends. We all knew when NVIDIA invested, what was it? $10 billion into Intel. that we could expect to see at some point some sort of collaboration and get GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs, into Intel CPUs. Here we go. Intel's Serpent Lake SoC with NVIDIA's RTX GPU tiles reportedly arrives Q1 2028. It's not too far away, a couple years. But it seems like Team Green and Team Blue are now making products just as was foretold, as was written. And so expecting to see these in the first of 2028. Let me scroll back up so you guys can see a really nice. You gotta love AI generated photos, because that's what that is. So the rumored collaboration on a major SoC called the Serpent Lake, highly anticipated chip, is set to integrate powerful next-gen NVIDIA RTX graphics processing units directly into the same package as the Intel. So basically replacing the embedded GPUs that Intel are putting on die for essentially a SoC that's got the NVIDIA graphics and the Intel x86. I mean, there was a time when NVIDIA made North bridges and South bridges. I remember those times. Yep. Team Turquoise. 2GTBK said Team Turquoise. Is that what... Hold on. Now I'm going on a tangent. Let's see here. Let's go. Blue and green mixed makes what color? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. He's right, friends. We got... So would it be Team Cyan? Team Cyan, Team Turquoise. Good call. Good call. We're now Team Cyan. There we go. Hope you like that. But back to the story here. So yeah, so this is going to be some interesting stuff when it comes out. The question, and this is a question for you guys in the audience here, because we talked about it. I know that there's Antitech says that's his stream color. So then that's right up your alley, Antitech. But this makes me wonder, does this mean officially, at least for now, the death knell of the battle mages, of Intel's discrete bespoke GPUs? I know I'd heard, can't remember who I was talking to, and they had said, yeah, they're dead. They're dead. But, you know, it's not been officially, that I've read, announced that that the Intel GPUs are dead. But this really feels like we're heading to dead Intel GPUs. Not the embedded stuff, because the cheap stuff's there. Yeah, I think I was talking to you, Antitex. I think that's right. But, like, now my CPU can consume 600 watts. Oh, boy. Yeah, and that's just the GPU portion of the CPU. You'll get another 200 or 300 watts on top of that. So, yeah, you're looking at yourself. Let's just get a kilowatt, 1 kW CPU, just to cover all. We'll put the Sapphire Rapids in there. We'll get the the Xeon in there. We'll just make this thing just cook, literally cook. But we knew this was coming, and it's coming fast. So. I don't know how I feel about it, guys. Like, I really wanted, I think I've said this to you before, the thing that I wanted most from Intel, it has always been not for them to just kick the pants off of NVIDIA or AMD, but to add competition, because we live in this world, which I mean now, a year into the future here, that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because now AMD and NVIDIA don't really care about consumers anyway. They're not trying to sell you a better graphics card, right? They're trying to make AI stuff. So it does kind of feel like maybe that has passed, but I really wanted a solid competitor to maybe fill in that value market, maybe get people there. Because I tell you what, guys, there's a certain joy that you get from building computers, and it's just not available anymore, and that makes me a sad person. So, but yeah. So this is and water is wet story, because like I said, we knew that when NVIDIA invested in Intel, kind of helped them pull themselves up, because remember, Intel was drowning in their own inefficiencies and poor management, and this certainly is the natural conclusion of it, which I think we were all expecting. So. Say la vie. here we go. All right. News out of the way. I want to talk about the cool stuff. Brandon, bring me up to the center, please. This last Saturday, a man with no business being in an electrical panel, shut down the rack, and I did the work. I had help. I want to be clear. You don't need to be good at things in life, guys. You just need to know people who are good at things and make good friends so that you can, rely on people who are smart. So I have a good friend, close friend who lives nearby. He's good with the Pixies, the high voltage Pixies. And so we set upon the task to upgrade my circuit. Just for a background here, the old UPS, the one that was dying approximately every 6 to 7 days and taking down the stack and making my family and myself very sad and unhappy, that APC RM3000 XL, gone. That was 120 volt, 30 amp. The update was to move to that Eaton, and which I did. So let's jump to this. Let's look at the panel. This is my panel. I don't know what your panel looks like at home, friends, and I would love to know. Okay, I know that Alleycat UK is gonna look at this, and her panel is gonna be way different in the United Kingdom. But this is kind of like the standard D square panel that you get in everybody's home these days, right? I had to do a lot of moving. These white stickers on the left here, those white stickers were the changes. I had to move stuff around, and what it ends up with here is I used a new tandem breaker to condense 2 20s into one. My panel only supports 8 tandems. That's it. I can't have any more tandems because I have full of tandem breakers. And then I had to move a few things around. But this big boy right here, what is this? That is that's 17 and 15 on the right side here. This is my 240 volt, 30 amp breaker that I installed. And it went smashingly. I gotta say, like, these things are actually pretty, as long as you do the right thing. I ran three 8 gauge wires, which is the right size for it. So we got all that stuff. Terry just says, you label your circuits. I like playing a special kind of Russian roulette. I don't have 10. Oh wait, I have 10. Sorry. All right, Aragorn. I'm mathing terrible today. You're right. This panel does support 10 tandems, and you can't install a tandem below that, which I learned that there's only a certain amount of entries or locations in a panel that can have a tandem. I am now an electrician, and I would be happy to help you rewire your house. I am not licensed and bonded. I'm kidding, of course. And I also think I'm supposed to say, because everyone says this sort of stuff, like, you shouldn't do this if you don't know what you're doing. There, I said it. So don't, if you melt your house down or burn your house down, it's not because of me. You're right, Adam. 10 gauge is 30 amp. I went with 8s because in case someday I need to get to a higher amperage breaker, I can just swap it out. So I ran 3/8, and now I have magically 240. So in this process, and I mean, it went, like I said, it was, other than playing Tetris in the panel to make this work, at the end I had a functional Eaton UPS, which I installed and found out that they didn't ship me the management card. So that was cool. I was not happy about that, but I contacted them and they said, oh, sorry, we're going to send it to you. So they're sending that. But I learned some things. I learned that the Eaton can do either, you can set your voltages. I've never had an APC that allowed you to change voltages, like your voltage output. But the Eaton was set to 208 when it came out, or when I plugged it in, and I switched it to 240, which is what was going into it, and it worked fine. And so everything's 240. But I have bought something in addition, something I should have bought to begin with. I also went ahead and bought one of these guys here. This is a step-down transformer. It looks like this. Now, all of the IoT devices that I have in my cabinet right now are 120 to 240 volt little, AC to DC wall wart plug things, right? Because they're all little switching power supplies. I could do some shady stuff like get a C14 and to a NEMA 515 and like do that, but I didn't not going to do that. That is not something I want to do. So this was, I think, $700 shipped, which adds more cost, right? Because I remember I got the UPS for like 16. So, we're a little higher than I wanted to be. But then this guy is a 30 amp, a step down transformer that will give me enough 120 volt NEMA 515. These are 20 amps, 20 amp connections. But then I can get all the miscellaneous IoT junk that I need to get plugged in. So this is on its way. And I feel better than doing this than doing something where I'm just plugging a NEMA 515 connection into a 240 volt system. You get what I'm saying, right? Yeah, anyway, so that's exciting. That'll get there. But I want to talk to you guys about my PDU. I splurged on a PDU. And I bought this guy here. Can I get this enhanced? Oh, come on, APC. You're going to be like that? Let's get in here. Oh my gosh, I lost it. Where'd you go? I want to get closer. Come on, I just want to show you guys. So this guy right here, we've got here, is a 240 volt switching and metered PDU. And it's got, these are what, C14 connections, right? And so I had to buy a bunch of new replacement cables. It's got a nice little GUI management system, which we're going to take a look at here. That is definitely a PDU. Yes, if there's something I will say that I went overboard on, it would be the PDU. But it's got plugs for days and days and days and days. And they're all switchable. And I am super happy about it. And I got it. And I'll zoom back out here. It was discontinued in March 25th of 2026. So it's still good. It's brand new to me. Anyway, I did want to show you what it looks like on the backside, so you guys can have a good idea of what it actually looks like here. And does it have an API, Dave? I think it does actually. So let's get logged in, admin, and then let's get logged in with my super secret password. It is probably the least sexy GUI that I've ever seen, but I guess you can tie all of these. If you had multiple PDUs, you can tie them together logically, and so you can log into one interface and see all of them, which is why you see total PDUs. Right now, with the whole stack running down in the garage, I'm eating approximately 1300 watts, 1340. And I have no sensor. The old sensor from my other UPS is not supported, which is a bummer. I'm not sure how long this is the run like this. Since this is since 2010, 1/1. Okay, this is since it was Inception's product. So since Saturday, I've eaten up 92.44 kilowatt hours of electricity. But I get that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge nerd when it comes to getting actual metrics off this stuff. And so it's nice. Let's go look here and see. So where's it at here? Let's go to the system management. That's me. Yeah, we don't want that. Let's go back to, I want to show you guys the thing. I don't have any sensors on there, so 100% of the PDUs. Where is the, oh, there it is. So control manage, there we go. So I can turn on and turn off. I haven't labeled this. I have all of the stuff documented in my cell phone, but I don't have any of it actually in here yet. But all of these outlets can be manually enabled and disabled. And I'm super jazzed about that. I think that's really nice. And I don't obviously get the power information because that was a more expensive PDU, but I get the macro power information. That's more than enough. And I can do damage if I want to. I'm not gonna do that. Anything I do right now would make this stop working. All of this live stream. So yeah, and I bet it does. Dave asked, does it have an API? I'm willing to bet you $1 it does, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that's built. And it's got an SSH. Actually, I don't know if it's got an API, Dave, but it's got an SSH interface on it. So if you can SSH into it, you can command things as well. So you can rig up something specifically there, which would be beneficial if you wanted to automate. And I bet you there's a lot of ways to automate. So yeah. If you need, Yocto said, if you need PDUs, I would have given you a couple of Eatons for free. Yocto, I appreciate that. I feel, I'm not one of those guys, I feel weird about being the kind of like, please, sir, may I have some power? Or, you know, I would love to know. Hopefully, Yocto's going to join the after show, because I'd love to get his opinion on the Eaton PDUs that he's got versus like what I have here with the APC Schneider electric ones, to see what the effective difference is. Obviously, I don't have power monitoring per plug, but I've got, you know, whole power on the thing. So, but yeah, so I'm at 30% usage. That's not too bad, which is good, because I got an AI box to build, and it's coming real fast. Yeah, SMTP or SNMP. I agree. All right, what are we doing on time? Good. Let's talk about the gear. Let's talk about let's switch. Oh, actually no. I have one more picture here. It's got a display on it. I'm such a nerd for like anything with a little display on it. Interestingly enough, I did not see a way in this user interface on the PDU itself to be able to actually enable or disable any of the port plugs, but you can manage the IP address of the unit and see its power consumption and whatnot. But input metered and outlet switch, so it's not per port metering, but it's doing a good job, and I like it. And also, this is something I learned. I don't know if you can see this here. You might notice this is a bad angle here, but you're facing the PDU in the cable management inside of the rack right there, right? And you'll notice that this PDU is kind of, it's hard to see this, but based on what it's sitting here, I should have gotten a better shot, but it's facing outward towards the back. This UPS, and I'm sure, and this is news to me because all the 0U PDUs I've ever worked with up until this point, you mounted them with the eyelets on the back of the PDU so that the ports, you know, pointed towards the servers in the back of your cabinet, right? This PDU can be mounted with eyelets in the back so it sits, you know, straight towards the servers, or you can mount it on the left and right side so it faces in and out of the cabinet, depending on what side you put it on. So I thought that was really nice, because the downside of a PDU this size, and it's kind of, let's see if this is a good photo of it here. We can get a better shot. Yeah, I want to see if there's an actual better photo of it than this. Enhance. That's not enhancing. Is that a better photo? Come on, APC. Don't do me dirty. Here we go. I just want to get this. Yeah, so you can kind of see a little bit. No, one more. Well, what? Come on, Billy. Let's show the. Yeah, it's a chonker. It's really thick. All the, you know, even the metered PDUs that I've used in the past were never like this thick. This thing is probably a good 4 or 5 inches thick from front to back, and that's eats up a lot of space if you're pointing it inward. You have to have a wide cabinet to really effectively use it. So, yeah, they're great. I'm super happy with it so far. It's got one thing I haven't figured out is, let me see if you can see this. There are 2 Ethernet ports on this, ETH0 and ETH1. One is 1 gig, 10/100 1 gig, and the other one is 10/100. And I am not entirely certain why there are 2 Ethernet management interfaces on this, because you can program either one of them and it's the same. So you really don't need more than 10/100 in anything. So I'm not sure why there's a gig, but there is. But anyway, it could be redundancy. Yeah, Angela said redundancy, but having it be 1 gig and the other one be 10/100 is a little weird. But they both work. I was plugged into either of them just to test it to see which one's which. But yeah, so, and it's got sensor supports, and it does. My sensors that I have from my old UPS don't work, which is a bummer. They plug in an interface, but they just don't get read. So, womp womp. All right, let's get on to something that I'm excited to talk about. All of the parts for the AI server are minus the cooler, which I might have to buy something temporary till it gets here. All of the AI parts are here, and let's take a look at them. Let's start. I was gonna switch this up. I have another camera. Look at this, guys. That's just my cell phone right there. I'm not a big YouTuber. That's just my cell phone, but it works. Anyway, let's talk about this guy first. I want to talk about the CPU. I think I told some of you guys about this in the Discord last week. I may not have, but I'm gonna pull this guy out here because it's in fabuloso shape here. Let me change my mic direction. There she is. There's the Threadripper. That is a Threadripper Pro 3945 WX12 core, 4 gigahertz. And yeah, it showed up in, I'll flip it over here so you can see it. There's an interesting story here that I want to talk about. And one that I feel like such an asshole about, but I don't think I have a reason to. And yes, I said asshole in there. So, oh no, I have to mark this as a adult only. Not for kids. Let's pull up this picture real quick. So I think I mentioned to you guys last week that I received most everything, but I hadn't gotten the CPU. The CPU hadn't arrived. And I was like, what the hell? 3 days after I had purchased it, I said, I wrote an email to the seller and I was like, hey, no rush, nothing, but could I get a tracking number? I'd like to be able to know, right? I got nothing, crickets. I only emailed the guy once. After 7 days, I was like, okay, well, this isn't going anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do the eBay return policy thing and just get my money back, right? I'll find another one. No big deal. And so I started that process. You just click a button, you say, what happened? You're like, I didn't get my part. And like, cool. And so I started that process and that then took another 3 days. And then I got this in eBay. You have a new message. I'm going to read to you from the seller, Simi Arbitrage. He said, sorry about the delay. I got caught up in a legal situation and I just now got out. I'm going to send you the item anyway and also send you a full refund. Thank you again for your business. And the dude's name. The message down below, hi, I'm hoping to get an estimated ship date for this. That was my initial email. The guy sent me, when this happened, I got 3 emails from eBay. I got a shipping notification, I got a return notification, and then I got this message. And I just hashtag stolen CPU, hashtag unlock stolen CPU. Hold on, Aragorn, are you saying that I stole the CPU? I didn't do anything wrong. I did not force this person. I mean, it was incredibly generous. And I think I was talking to Antitux earlier about it. He's like, the dude's probably sitting on like, and actually, if we go back to this, we can see this dude's sold 322 of these. Let's enhance this. Enhanced. Scroll down here. He sold a lot of these and he's got 70 left. So he probably got them for a song. But he didn't have to do that. I mean, I paid $129. I paid $0, and it was really generous. And so it made me feel terrible. I don't know why I felt terrible. I should have been like, oh, of course. Oh, I'm the customer. I deserve this. But I was like, man, I mean, don't do that. I appreciate it. But I mean, we have a social contract here. It's the same reason why when you pull up to a 4-way stop and the person on your right is supposed to go first, if you get there at the same time, it's because we produce rules for how things should work so that there's never any confusion and there's no hard feelings. It's like, well, did you follow the rules? Well, then good, right? And so, I mean, I appreciate it. And I did send the guy a message. I'm like, hey, dude, thank you. I gave him a positive, funny, he returned the product to me, or, he sent me the product and gave me a refund, yet I could still leave a review, which riddled me that one, eBay. So I said something very nice and appreciative because I felt like I had to, but I felt like, and Brandon's correcting me on the 4-way stop thing. If you pull up to a 4-way stop at the same time as somebody else, the rules of the road say the person on your right is the tiebreaker. They get to go first. All I'm saying is that the rules aren't there, for fairness. The rules are there just to handle situations where you have unhandled exceptions. I know Dave. Dave says you are a good guy, Rich. Look, I'm genuinely not trying to be like, but I did feel bad, because the guy, this makes me think like the dude was in jail. I can't highlight this, but I got caught up in a legal situation and now I just now got out like that. It feels like he was in the jail, in a jail. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get back to the thing, Brandon, because I just want to talk about that. So this guy is in hand, and it arrived in great shape. I'm really happy. I'm trying to make it look good here for the camera, which is a real tough thing. This is my first hands-on with a Threadripper Pro. So I don't have a torque wrench for attaching it with the right torque settings, but like I said to the guys in the chat, it's a good opportunity for me to go buy a really small precision torque wrench, because any opportunity to buy a new tool for my toolbox, I'm going to do it. So anyway, CPU done. Let's take a look at the motherboard, shall we? All right. Here we go. Oh, where's my mouse here? This, friends, is the Gigabyte MC62-G40 reversion 1.0 workstation board, WRX 80 AMD Threadripper Pro board. Antitex, don't forget to pick up a CR20 2032. I actually have a box, not a box, a little thing of them downstairs. I was surprised to see they don't ship with a battery, but hey, that's fine. This board is, I'm really excited about this. It'll take UDIMMs and RDIMMs. I'm going to put some RDIMMs in there. I've got a bunch of DDR4, got a bunch of DDR4 server RAM, ECC memory is going to go into it and build it up. We did all of the effort, the planning. Brandon, why don't you head back to the photo of the thing? So we did all the planning here for these GPUs. So I'll talk about the GPUs next, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots here, right? You see all those. And these NVIDIA 3090, EVGA 3090 FTW3 cards are like 2.5 slots long. So I basically blow these 3 for one. I blow these 3 for another. And then I have this last hanging guy here for the last 3090. So, and these are all minus this slot right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 are fully conductive or fully connected 16x PCIe slots. This is an 8. I'm not sure why this is an 8, but it doesn't matter anyway because I'm not going to be using that slot. It's going to be covered up. But this board is also, from all intents and purposes I can tell, never been used. It's brand new. I'm not sure why. And this came from China. Like you can see here, it came from Maybe Electronics. Brand new. I will say though, everything they ship from China gets taped up like it's every package that comes from China looks like it's from a Breaking Bad episode, and it's like a brick of drugs, because it's just like every single square centimeter of this box has been taped. I get it. You do that and you don't have to worry about water and that kind of stuff. But this is the box that is the box you see right here on the screen is that's the Gigabyte motherboard box. You wouldn't be able to tell because it's entirely encased in yellow tape. So waterproof, exactly. It's about as waterproof as it gets. But so this is a brand new board. I got this thing for $610. It was shipped. There was $70 in shipping to get it here, so a little over $700 but just can't wait. It's got an IPMI interface, which I'm super jazzed about because then I can actually control this thing out of band, which is important to me. I didn't want a desktop board that didn't have IPMI. I gotta say thank you to Antitex in there for helping me do that. How many USB 2.0 headers? Actually, I'm going to do this right now, Terry. Well, since you asked, I'm just going to count them. I count 1 so far. There's a lot of USB 3 headers. I see 2 USB 3.0 headers, 1 USB 2 header, and a partridge in a pear tree. No, that's it, dude. That's all there is. So, I guess I should have paid attention because I really needed those USB 2 headers. I'm kidding. Yeah, so there's only 1 single USB 2 header over there, and then there's the 2 USB 3 headers right there. So, I mean, I won't be plugging anything USB into it at all. It's going to be in a rack and in the closet. Got 2 NVMe 2280 NVMe slots for storage, and that's all it's going to have in it. We're not going to put anything else. This is not going to have, I know the case we bought, if you guys remember, is that rose wool. And it's got a bunch of, it's got a backplane and some hot swaps, so you could throw some, 2.5 inch drives in there. But I'm not going to do that. This thing is not, it doesn't need it for what I'm doing. It's just going to be NVMe. It's going to be fast as ever. Yeah. Yeah, if I need more USB 2s, I can make it work. There's no question about that. Yeah, Jason said that's the only thing that he wishes his consumer board had, or they had on consumer boards, was IPMI. I feel like out-of-band management should just be a thing for everybody. And if you wanted to, if they cared about it, you could make them put 2 NICs on the board and make it a dual use, one of them a dual use interface. Because you can do that with a lot of IPMIs. You can say, you know what, this is either an Ethernet connection or it's an IPMI. So, but yes. Oh yeah, and Antox mentioned too, it's got 3 slim SASs on the back side. It's going to rotate around here, which it'll be a little hard to see maybe. These guys right here, those 3 slim SAS connectors, which is great if I wanted to connect up a bunch of SAS drives. The slim SAS 4 connections per, but Aragorn said vPro uses the built-in NIC. I thought the vPro was the thing that everyone was paranoid that they were using them. Anyway, doesn't matter. Board is in hand. Can't say how happy I am about that. So now I'm gonna let me just get something out here real quick. I'm gonna put this back because and this board is heavy. I'm guessing it's mostly because of this the integrated mount for this Threadripper is a big chunk of metal, and it consumes a bunch of weight on this board. So let's go. There we go. Brandon, let's put the camera back on. This is the thing I'm going to say. This is such a weird experience for me. So I have not one. Move this out of the way. I don't want to damage any of this precious stuff. Not one. Not 2. But 3 EVGA 3090 FTW Ultras. And this morning when I was planning out the live show and thinking about all this, I thought to myself, I remember when the 3090 came out and we couldn't get them. You could not get a 3090, no matter how hard or how fast you were at clicking on websites. They were just, the 30 series was like if I remember correctly, the 30 series was like the big time when all of a sudden it felt like every GPU was just impossible to get. And I remember being very lucky to be able to get one of these guys. And now I've got 3 of these honking things to put in this AI box. Shadow said, sir, you are still tripping breakers. We'll see. Because I have a 1500 watt power supply over here that says that it can handle it. I did the math. Aragorn, I hope you tested them. There's some shady sellers out there these days. Oh, I know. Yep. Aragorn may have helped me out on 2 of these, and I genuinely appreciate that from him. But these guys, I'm gonna have to check and make sure that all the thermal pads, thermal paste, all that stuff is in good shape, because these have had a hard life. This one right here that you're looking at here was one that I had purchased. It was in my wife's computer, and I pulled it out of her computer. I gave her another 3090 that I had. But the reason why I took her 3090 is because all 3 of them are identical. And being identical means that I can expect similar performance when I'm spanning LLMs across it. Now, I'm not showing you guys this stuff because I want you to think that I think I'm cool. I feel very lucky and humbled to be able to have these. It's also feels very surreal that I'm able to do this. So this is happening. There's another PSU back here too, but I'm not going to pull that thing out. That thing's another big chonkin monster. So All of that, friends, all of that. Oh, look at that. My camera just is back. Okay, cool. All of this, I now have basically everything I need to start building this box. And that's going to be, I got a video coming out here that I'm working on. And Terry Johnson, just want your address and the dates you'll be on vacation next. That's not happening, Terry. Nope. No, sir. Not happening. No trusted sources, quote unquote. But anyway, we're getting close to time. So I want to talk to you guys about one more thing real quick. Brandy, bring me up to the main here. So actually, I take it back. Bring me back to the video screen. I apologize. So I haven't showed you guys this in a long time, and I'm not showing the MeKritik Manager thing that I built with the assistance of AI because I want to show it off. I'm proud of it or anything like that. I am proud of it, but that's not the point. No, I want to talk about specifically. I have an idea, and this is where I would love for you guys, genuinely, as you know, part of this community that we're building, to give me your honest opinion. I have put so much time and effort into all this. Like, I'm pulling net flow stats off the devices now, so I can see exactly how much data things are using. You can see the app traffic over time. Like, this has become, minus a few things that Unify can do with like firewall functionality, which I really haven't put any effort into that because I've the unified firewalls in Unify UI is perfect for that. Minus a lot of that stuff, this has effectively all of this stuff. Hey, I got a TV downstairs. It's an LG TV. And we can see that's app. I mean, look at this. It just gets all of these things. I have an idea, and here's the idea, and it's up for debate. And I genuinely want your opinions. I think this has become, when I think of projects, I think of things, and maybe this is the corporate rich who's had this beat into him. Like, if you look at things like, you always shoot for the 80th or 85th percentile of success, right? You can't ever get to 100% anything because it's just not possible. You spend too much time, you get diminishing returns. So this is, for me, is getting very close to being like the 85th percentile of all the things that I would ever want in a single pane of glass drink platform for MeKritik. I reached out to MeKritik and I said, hey, and they saw the video and they got back to me, said, hey, where's that video for the Switch? You know, and I'm like, oh, cool. But I said, hey, I got an idea. What if I rip out all of my Unify gear and I replace it all with MeKritik gear, end to end, wireless, everything, and I use this platform that I built to see if it works? And that's the idea. The whole process, the whole experience. Like, I'm in love with the idea of like, this is the phrase that I was batting back and forth with Brandon, like eating your own dog food. I hate that idiom. And I don't even know if that idiom lands for other places or other countries, but you know, the idea of like, hey, like you can put the thing that you made yourself. Claude made it. Don't get me wrong. I have a software engineer. We already talked about that, but, and like using it wholesale. Now, I don't really have a firewall, and I don't think the MeKritik really has a firewall product. So I'd probably keep the EFG for right now, for the long run, until, you know, I know that the MeKritiks actually have firewall functionality into them. There are Linux systems, but I'm just saying, I think this is going to be a big project because it'll do all of these things and stuff and things, and I think it's worth it. Anyway, if you join into the after show, we can talk about it. You guys can give me your honest thoughts because I would love to know. And yeah, I have one critical alert. Yeah, look at this. Like all this. Look, you can get the 7 days worth of traffic. Oh, and I'm sending syslog or NetFlow data from the Unify gear into this as well. So it's keeping track of everything. All of it's there, which is, it's bananas. It's BANANAS. Cool. Anyway, Brandon, let's bring it to a close. We're at the hour slot. I thank you guys for hanging out with me 2 times the show to talk about the community. Right after this here, we're going to hop into the Discord that we've got. It's completely free and available. Everybody can join in and hang out and talk about everything. Like the stuff we talked about here. We'll get to listen to Shadow tell us how bad things are going. Antiduck said, link me the code for that background. Okay, thanks. You have to tell me what you're specifically looking for. I'll tell you. Anyway, go join the Discord. It's the pride and joy of this. It's the thing that, like, I wake up every morning and I check the Discord. I don't check to see how many subs I've got or how many comments or how the videos are doing. I'm just like, I go to the Discord, and the memes channel is always my first stop. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We will do this next week. I appreciate having each and every one of you. See you soon. Stay safe. Talk to you later.